what we do usually here is we start with sharing the first 10, 20 minutes, the teaching. We are sharing our screen, but we are reading from the text there. So there are some visuals, but only like metaphors that I can, but everything is in a written form. This teaching like evokes naturally the open intelligence, but we'll make an introduction to open intelligence as well. And then after that, we have shares and also space for questions. What is open intelligence? And when we just stop thinking for a moment, what remains? There's an alertness and clarity, openness, spaciousness, the power to know. And that's open intelligence. Open intelligence is naturally present as what's hearing, what's seeing, what's sensing, open intelligence. Obviously, we can't stop thinking, and because thoughts appear again. The same open intelligence is equally present with thoughts and without thoughts. So it's naturally present sometimes initially when we stop thinking for a moment and recognize what remains. We recognize the natural presence of open intelligence, and it seems easier initially. However, open intelligence is present with thoughts and obviously without thoughts. But it's not the point to have no thoughts, because that will be, very difficult to hold in place. Oh yeah, last week we were talking about how are we handling and how are we dealing with all the thoughts and emotions and sensations that arise. And before I go into that, just the thoughts and emotions and sensations we call here data, just to keep it simple. So all these data, all these thoughts and emotions, sensations that we have during the day and night, they appear as energy, the dynamic energy of open intelligence. They appear because without open intelligence, we wouldn't feel, hear, see, and taste, and all these data and sensations and feel wouldn't be there. So open intelligence is at the basis of everything. So, and then there are 4 ways on how we handle our thoughts and emotions. We either indulge them, or we avoid them, or we replace it with better ones, or we leave them as they are. And these different ways of dealing with our thoughts and emotions, we just recognize that we leave them as they are is what the teaching is about. And the other ways of dealing with our mind are common ways how we just how we learned to deal with our feelings and our thoughts. Try to figure something out, indulge them, make a story about why we feel a certain way, why anything at all. And we've tried to avoid things, we avoid negative feelings, negative thoughts, and try to not think about something, try to avoid a circumstance or a person, or we replace and try to have better thoughts and better feelings. But it also, when we look at our experience, we see how that can be very difficult to keep in place, keep positive thoughts or positive feelings in place. So now we are talking about letting data, letting thoughts, emotions, and experiences be as they are, and rest as open intelligence. Rest as open intelligence for short moments, many times. So there's no need to indulge, renounce, or transform, refine, or analyze data. We simply let each data stream flow on by, Nothing need be done about the data. The only reality of data is open intelligence. Data shine forth within open intelligence like rays of the sun shine within the sun. So all these data, all these thoughts and emotions, they flow on by, and we don't actually need to do anything about these data, about these thoughts and emotions that come up just right now. We might have some feelings, some thoughts, and allowing them to be as they are, as the dynamic energy of open intelligence. Nothing needs to be done about data, and we rest naturally just in our natural way of being. And it's the ease of being that is naturally present. So maybe Jochen, you would like to.
We let the natural ease of open intelligence outshine the compulsion to emphasize data streams. The impulse to be involved in changing the flow of data streams is simply a habit. Within the stirring of data, rely on open intelligence. Where open intelligence and data are inseparable, we enjoy the powers of harmony and unity that are of great benefit personally and collectively. Yeah, it's great to see that it's simply a habit. Like when you examine how this works, which is what we do in the 12 empowerments, we basically become familiar with the autopilot type habit that most of us are running, where we automatically seem to sort whatever data we have into positive or negative or neutral, the ones that we don't really care or pay much attention to. And then when it's positive, we typically we want to hold on to it. And when it's negative, we want to do something about it or have different ones. And just to see that this is a learned habit and that we can, instead of using a practice like this or other spiritual practices or psychology practices or whatever we might have been trying, still staying in the same loop. Like in my case, I was trying to meditate sadness away, but it kept coming up. And so instead, to be able to let it all flow however it will within the data stream, exactly as it is, we can relax completely. Just relaxing completely and noticing that this habit undoes itself in each moment of rest. That habit, that force of that habit decreases until it eventually doesn't even come up anymore. This is typically Kati's picture, but I will still say something. There is nothing else that needs to be done about thoughts and emotions. All data self-release. We rely on the power of open intelligence in our everyday life. Short moments of open intelligence many times become continuous at all times. So just like the totally at peace, at rest, hanging out in the beautiful environment there, we can have that kind of attitude no matter what goes on. And of course, it might not always feel like that. Our feelings don't need to change. We might still have high energy states, but our inner disposition can still be one of unwavering rest and ease. I like that word, the ease of being. Just being at ease no matter what appears and recognizing that whatever appears, it poses no threat.
For example, fear is another crystal clear datum arising in open intelligence. So having this example of fear, which is an emotion, feeling that we try to get rid of and don't know what to do with. So when we rely on instinctive open intelligence for freedom in the immediacy of fear, so in the immediacy of the perception of the data, fear, we rest naturally and allow this data to be as it is. We see the fear shine forth in open intelligence and then disappear. And then another data stream appears and then disappears. The data self-release, just resting naturally. We actually don't need to even try for something to feel free or be self-releasing, just resting naturally for short moments. Again and again, this instinctive recognition of open intelligence becomes more and more obvious. And then data like fear, emotions like fear or anxiety, we might feel in certain circumstances or all the time, are reminders to take a short moment for open intelligence, take a short moment of resting naturally. And we more and more recognize that open intelligence is consistent throughout the presence of fear and the absence of fear, always present. And recognize that open intelligence, the ease of being, that presence is always constant, always reliable, always available, and even in just a short moment. That's why we say short moment, because not trying to get into another state or something that we feel is open intelligence, just brief moments, very short moments of resting naturally whenever we remember to do so. And this is freedom in immediate perception of all data. And when in that way we face everything as it is, as the dynamic energy of open intelligence, as the natural perfection of open intelligence that is entirely beneficial by nature. The freedom in immediate perception and the complete perceptual openness in all experience. So by taking this short moment there, we see that everything is the dynamic energy of open intelligence. And in that way, there's a aspect where everything is entirely beneficial. It doesn't mean that the descriptions or the data we have are positive or beneficial in their descriptions. It simply means that the energy of open intelligence has the power to know and to respond and to be used in a beneficial way. And so it's natural, by nature, it's beneficial. By its being open intelligence, this energy. So seeing everything as the dynamic energy of open intelligence, just naturally, by taking these short moments, opens up that we are able to feel everything. We feel more deeply, we allow our feelings and thoughts to be as they are, and we are not anymore afraid of ourselves and of the thoughts and the feelings that might come. Yeah. And then we realize that there's nothing that needs to be done to alter the natural flow of data. Data are the liveliness and power of open intelligence itself. So recognizing that energy, that dynamic energy of open intelligence, so they are lively. Sometimes we can feel like directly it has a potency and power. And open intelligence has no particular point from which to view. It takes in all data and gives them beneficial perspective and potency. So in the way of thinking and managing our thoughts and emotions into good ones and bad ones naturally relaxes in these short moments, and then there's an openness to all experiences as it is, as the energy of open intelligence, and we feel less limited by all the descriptions and more restfulness and openness and the power to respond, ability to respond to what is needed. Also how to take care of ourselves and what we need, but also circumstances. I guess we can take here this one, yeah, because by repeatedly allowing the power and ease of open intelligence becomes increasingly obvious and automatic. So we do not fall into emphasizing data, like looking at the descriptions and making stories around what we are feeling and thinking. Short moments are repeated many times, and that's like the simple yet not always easy practice of taking short moments throughout our day, wherever we are, whatever we are doing. We take these short moments and see in our own experience how they support us, just with allowing everything to be as it is. Yeah, I guess we can pause here and see if there are questions and maybe shares how the short moments are doing, but also space for questions.
I have
Hello.
a couple of comments.
Yes.
The first one, if you'd allow me, I was reading Rest is Best, and let's see if I can find it. I tried to prepare this properly. And then chapter, it's like at the top of the words. Candace provided us with. Let me see. This is chapter 39, and on the top it says, "In my essence, I am free. In a world filled with suffering, one may hear in some spiritual circles affirmations such as, 'May I be free of this.' That is all well and good, but this is what she said, not me. But why ask for something we already have? Since we are already free, why not acknowledge it in that way rather than pray for it like it's somewhere else?" I thought that was so profound that, I thought it would be nice just to read to everyone. So anyway, then I have a couple of other comments. I think Jochen was talking about that it's a habit, creating the habit of open intelligence. And I was thinking, it's like open intelligence, a sort of training ourselves to, which many of us haven't had as kids or growing up, the training of relying on our essence rather than data and so forth and so on. So I thought that the idea that repeating several times, all day if possible, that we would have that it's like a training. That's what it felt like to me. Is that? And then I have one other thing, but you can comment on that, please.
Yes. Well, thank you for sharing also your experience and quote there. But yes, it is like training up in recognizing open intelligence in what is already present, but due to the one habit of just seeing the descriptions of data, of our emotions and thoughts, everything is made up of that when we just know that. And training in open intelligence in the essence of our being, our natural state, basically, a natural way of being, is like a training, yes, with short moments, even though nothing really is being accumulated or right, as it's already present, but it simply more makes it more obvious.
Yeah.
Just these short moments.
And it is still, I don't know, I think I've been involved with this for 6 months, but it's still so refreshing after all the studies I've done. And not to say any of that was bad in any way, because it's all part of the totality. But it's still so refreshing. It takes such a load off trying to figure figure this out, you know. And okay, so the last thing, put my light on this. I wrote this down, and there was there was a video that I had never seen before, um, called "When Spiritual Concepts Fail You: Finding Freedom in the worst moments of people's lives." And Candace said, "Free as every you're free at freedom as the immediate perception of whatever is occurring. Um, when we are free, as every perception, we are free with every perception. We are also prepared. Oh, this is what. So if you're free with every perception, and of course she includes short moments and open intelligence, and doing that. Um, she mentioned, and these were her words, that you will also be prepared for death. And she, prior to that, she said how many things can happen in life that we're not prepared for, like, I don't want to go, deaths of family members suddenly, or catastrophic illnesses. But what impressed upon me when she said we are also prepared for our own death. So it almost sounds like there's a knowing, conscious knowing about our own death. I mean, I don't know. I'd like you to comment on that. What is meant by that?
Yes, well, thank you. Well, Rinpoche has spoken, or Candice has spoken about that, because traditionally, also in the traditions, these teachings were given to practice during life for the moment when there are the perceptions, and when for one's own death, so that one can be with all the things that come up around that. So she shares that as also a traditionally aspect or way of using the teachings traditionally. But we can see when we just look at our own experience with life, each one of us, when we practice short moments, we practice right now in the moment, right? Meaning thinking of the future or thinking to the past, that's also happening right now. And these are all data too, memories or fear of the future. And anything that comes up is like we are resting and we are grounding ourselves in our restful, in our essence, in our way of being. And to the perceptions and the data and the experiences that come up at death, or leading up to, then that's all part of the training, part of preparation. Yes, in that context, she would talk about that.
Okay,
Mm-hmm.
thank you.
Yes, thank you. The most important is, of course, we rest and take short moments right here, meaning with whatever comes up in our minds, whatever comes up in life, right? And so that's where our training ground is. And it's true, we are already free, we are already open intelligence. So when we think about it, we think, well, how are we training for something that is already present? But obviously, we gain more confidence. Yeah. Amanda, yes.
Just to follow up on that, yeah, the sense that our whole lives have been a training to identify with thoughts and feelings and the mind trying to figure it out. and our natural birthright, shall we say, of being the space of open intelligence, which we are, we identify, we don't rest back into that because we're identified with thoughts and feelings and emotions and trying to figure it out. Yeah. So and I trained myself to think all the time because I was dyslexic and trying to study. So I trained my mind to be busy every second. And now I've got to train it to be not busy every second. It's quite.
Well, what is also powerful, actually, when you take short moments while it's busy, you can take short moments there, then that is easier than trying to not be busy.
So it's very hard to take a short moment without doing a short moment, like being the mind, watching myself thinking. Yeah.
Yeah, that's okay in the beginning. I wouldn't even worry about that. That just falls away naturally.
Yeah.
Yeah, that when you take short moments, the mind is busy. Of course, we take a short moment. That's why I use maybe the text or listen to a talk.
Yeah.
So
I
that
do that and then I
you do
forget for the
that.
rest of the day.
It's okay. It's okay.
And there's
Yeah.
some things I notice, like I'm not very good when things change at all. And that was a big one. I mean, I've got diagnosed autistic and I've always been like that. Things change. It really disrupts me. But I was trying this week because a friend said she was going to do this thing and she didn't. And it brought up all the kind of blame, enemy images, all of that. And I was trying to kind of rest, but parts of me were still really distressed or unsettled by what had been done. But I did try, and I managed to not reply in a horrible way. But it was quite hard because I was trying to be in short moments, but parts of me were like, rah, 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 it's not okay. She shouldn't have done. And it was a bit challenging to feel any peace. I couldn't feel any rest but I knew not to speak and to act on it. And I knew there was a bigger something, but I couldn't feel that. I was just in agitation and blame, really. But I was not wanting to be in blame, but I was in blame of her.
Right. Yeah, but actually, you're taking short moments there. You don't need to feel peace. You're just seeing that you're not responding. You could see
But I
everything.
wasn't resting. I didn't feel like my idea is if I'm resting, then I should feel like relaxed, and I was not relaxed.
Yeah, that's our ideas of resting. It makes sense. And obviously, ultimately, yes, but then also no, because rest is also feeling agitated as it is, right? Trying to change that agitation into a peaceful one is really what we are trying, where the struggle starts. So letting it be agitated as it is, you see, you're not reacting. So there's something about you that is stable and open right now in that moment. That's most important. You're taking a short moment, you remember that. So that's the short moment. Doesn't feel good, but it doesn't need to feel good.
Yeah, because if I was like, if resting, you'd walk around just like you were stoned all the time. You look like you were
That wouldn't
like,
be,
you'd just be lying over on the sofa.
yeah.
Yeah, that's good what you say about my definition of resting doesn't mean that you all chilled out necessarily, yeah. But
Totally,
you can
because
rest in that bigger space, yeah.
in that energy is your
Yeah.
potency. And you don't want to get into a state of what you think is resting.
No.
Yeah, well, like you said, that it would be like it's
Yeah.
contrived, right? Yeah.
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 Okay, thank you. Yeah.
Yeah. And the empowerment one is going well.
Yeah, I just keep listening to it.
Great. Good. Let me just see a question. I'm just going to read that. Can you explain being contrived during short moments? Confused. I can't tell how to tell if I'm taking a short moment. Just because I seem to need or want something, even open intelligence. Yeah, that's also very natural in the beginning that we feel we are contriving something in short moment. It should feel like rest. It should feel like something. It should feel like we think open intelligence should look like. So we do apply sort of our own ideas about open intelligence to the moment of rest. That's natural. We don't get around that because it's simply all the data, more data, more thoughts, concepts about either what we've learned or what we actually think it should feel like. So that's a very natural process gaining confidence in open intelligence is to see all our ideas of how we should be. It's just now, more like in the context of open intelligence, right? And then in other contexts, we have ideas how we should be. Here we have ideas how we should be. So we just see these as well as emotions and thoughts, concepts that come up as open intelligence, whereas open intelligence is always present as the energy, as that dynamic energy of whatever we are thinking, wanting to be, how we should feel as a short moment. So that gives a moment of relief, that the struggle within even trying to take short moment, contriving something, whether you're contriving or not, don't overthink that in the beginnings. It's good that you bring it up. That brings you a moment of instinctive recognition. Okay, just take another short moment. Yeah, it might seem a bit complicated, and just listen to a talk and just don't think about it will be helpful to just rest in the natural way of being. Yeah. Also, going through the empowerment, things will be feeling confusing. We don't know if you're doing it right. Just continue on and it becomes more clear naturally. You can trust that. Yeah. Being in touch, of course. Yeah. Yes, Paul.
I must share a testimonial. I don't know whether other folks in this group are doing the empowerments. I'm so new to it that I'm on empowerment number 2, and it's uh, it's it's undoing me. Uh, I've I went through it. I read it again. I answered the questions. And now I've started going over it again and again. I can't seem to get away from number 2. I don't know how long it'll take me to get through 12 of them, but it's beautiful beyond description. It's impacted me like I never imagined. Um, it's moving me to recognition and tears at times. And I'm finally getting what Candace talks about when she speaks of wish fulfilling gems. I've read that and heard that over the months, and what in the heck is a wish fulfilling gem? But I get it now, and I think when I get done with this empowerment number 2, every single sentence is going to be underlined, and so it's I don't know if I'll ever get out of it. It might be I feel like I'm going to be stuck in number 2 forever. It's so beautiful. So I just want to give that testimonial that if you've not done the empowerment steps, I remember hearing about it months and months and months ago. I thought, well, I don't need that. I'm reading Candace's book and I'm meditating and I'm getting all this. This is beautiful. but I don't need to mess with a 12-step program. But I'm so grateful that I did and that I'm in the midst of it. And I cannot be more excited about number 3 if I ever get to it.
That's beautiful. Oh, thank you for sharing, Paul. That's
You're welcome.
wonderful. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm. Beautiful. Yes. Yes. Anyone else who would like to share or ask a question? Mm-hmm. Yes, Fia?
Yeah, it's beautiful to
Mm.
hear. Um, I see that I'm very much conceptualizing things and uh, uh, indulging, avoiding, replacing. I can make it in something that I shouldn't do instead of simply noticing when I'm tensed or when I'm trying to figure something out or just see that somehow, just let it be, not doing anything with it. It's like I could very much relate to trying to take a short moment and having it to be a certain way, and so it just keeps on changing somehow, and it's just to be. It's like a journey somehow,
Mhm.
with no goal, really.
Yes.
Uh,
Yeah, but that's great. Yeah, that these insights, they deepen forevermore. You're laughing also, and it is kind of we almost to a point to enjoying just the ride. Basically, the deepening of open intelligence and actually sometimes having insights and think, wow, that's just such a good insight, and then maybe a year later you have the same one, but the same one is the same one, but it actually deepens ultimately. Yeah. I had some insights again and again, but they deepen such the confidence
mm,
in open intelligence in a very natural way. And there is no destination because everything is already complete right here. So we're never arriving anywhere other than forever deepening. But it's true that the 12 empowerments cut through in a way the data in a way that there's no confusion anymore. Like there's no doubt. In doubt, there's no doubt. There could be doubts around even doing the 12 empowerments, but there's no doubt. There's a conviction that grows forever. But for me, it was like the empowerments really like, it made the direct introduction and cutting through all these kinds of ideas. But then they deepen and integrate through living, right? And like you shared, it's forever. You're seeing it. You have an instinctive recognition very clearly. Mhm. And the confidence. Mhm. Did you have actually not? Yeah. Did you have another?
yes, thank you.
Yes. Thank you. Oh yeah, Bentley, you're saying I just took a short moment. Yeah, yeah, exactly. Great. Yeah. Just one short moment is already one short moment. And then there's another one naturally. Who knows when, but just right now. Mhm. And another one. Another one. Just resting naturally here. It's very it's very simple. Rinpoche always said it's simple, but it's not always easy. So we can have compassion for ourselves that sometimes life and our circumstances aren't easy. So we're not oversimplifying. But still, the simplicity of it is sometimes too simple. It's like, oh, the short moment right here. Yeah, I don't need to get something more. It's like, it's not. It's not difficult. It's our natural way of being. Let's see, any other shares or questions?
Maybe while we wait for others to maybe have a question or something else you want to share. Just listening to you all reminded me of our days when we did the empowerments 20 plus years ago. And for the first time, I've done them many times since, going through it with people, but every time I feel I'm going through it myself as well, in a way. But just how what you just said about the same insights coming up again and again, and it just being an ongoing deepening process. It's quite amazing to see how the mainstays, the four mainstays, you've heard about that probably, or you will hear about it if you haven't been here before, again and again. So Candice Rinpoche has set up the four mainstays as a practice platform, you could say, in short moments, where we have this simple practice of short moments repeated many times until open intelligence is continuously obvious at all times. But then we also have the teachings, the texts, we have teachers, we have the community, like here, hearing from other people, some who've been practicing a long time, some who are here for the first time. And I remember in the beginning, I didn't even know what a short moment was. And especially when I tried to take a short moment, it was like completely impossible for me. Like I would immediately try to have the best short moment. And that, of course, is exactly the opposite of really allowing my mind to rest in its natural state. So my main practice was to just show up and come, like listen to the talks, read the texts, and essentially, whenever I was thinking about it, to remember to just move on with whatever I'm actually doing and not think about it. that was incredible for me at some point to see that I don't need to think about this at all in order to get it. That's like so against anything else I've done in life before, any practice I've tried, anything I tried to learn or to become better at. It's usually the more you put in, the more effort you put in, the better the result. This is not a practice like that. So there is something, however, that is really beautiful, and I'm hearing this and also feeling it just looking at you all. The heartfelt motivation, the dedication. You'll in the newer books, Rinpoche speaks about bodhicitta, like that heart of compassion, that heart movement to have open intelligence be fully evident and always obviously present in us. That is really beautiful. And whenever that turns into effort, oh, I need to do this, or I need to take a short moment to just let that flow on by as well, and do whatever else might be available, whether it's like maybe just think of a quote you've read in the book in the morning or yesterday, instead of like trying to rest. And over time, you mentioned underlining things in the empowerments, just things that really like strike the essence of what it elicits in us, and becoming familiar on how we can use these other mainstays was just so valuable for me. And eventually to the point where I didn't need to practice short moments in like the way I thought I had to, like practice short moments and just being immersed, you could say, and allowing my heart to open to the four mainstays. that became just more and more natural, so that eventually it was, that's what that is. That's a short moment. And it's much easier than I always made it to be. Like all my ideas about what it meant to take a short moment. So just whenever you find yourself thinking about it or trying to do it right, just know that that's more thoughts, more data that appear that are just an expression of your beneficial motivation to do it right. But the best step really is to just relax completely. And if it ever feels useful, just even 30 seconds of listening to a talk or maybe opening the app on your phone instead of scrolling through whatever else you might be scrolling through, and having a look at one of the teachings, a quote, or seeing other friends who are practicing is a much easier route.
Right. Yes, Paul.
Oh,
I've been reminded from the things said this morning that there is only open intelligence. That's all there is. All the data is open intelligence. I am open intelligence. The what might be called an irritating thought, a troubling thought that you don't want to have as part of your experience, that is open intelligence and an opportunity given in it to rest. So it's all as it is and as it should be, and we can welcome everything that comes because it can only be open intelligence manifesting in the moment that we're wrestling with something. This is open intelligence wrestling with something, and we can be okay with that and just take the occasion to rest. It's incredibly simple and liberating.
So beautiful. Empowerment too is is shining through your share here. Yeah, so beautiful. Thank you, Paul.
Great. And Aina, did you have maybe something you wanted to ask, or did you test the short moments?
Well, I'm just wondering what's the difference between consciousness and open intelligence. Can you
Yes,
say?
yes. Well, probably in other teachings, it's like consciousness or awareness, and then open intelligence. It's all synonymous in a way. So the open intelligence term is used because we don't have any ideas from other teachings around awareness or consciousness. So just it's open and it's our intelligence. And yeah, but it's ultimately the same.
Thank you.
Have you immersed yourself in those in certain teachings that use consciousness as a term, or?
Well, I'm aware about the teachings of Buddhism to a degree.
Yeah.
And are we to think that this open intelligence continues to exist after we're dead, or
Yeah.
or do you know, in Buddhism you go into nirvana, which is a different state. So
Yeah.
I mean, I'm 89 and probably not going to live that much longer, and I'm interested in well, preparing for what's to come.
Of course, yes. Thank you for sharing. Yes, yes. I mean, Rinpoche has spoken about death and open intelligence in relation to that, and seeing. That's why when we spoke about it being a preparation for death, that was the ultimate purpose of actually gaining familiarity with open intelligence, because of course then seeing that death is another appearance in open intelligence, without having, this teaching here doesn't formulate any ideas or concept what happens after death necessarily, but it shows that everything, that we are not like a body, and our open intelligence is in our own mind that is like has these limitations, and then we come and live and then die, and then everything. That open intelligence is basically aware of everything, of living and dying and death itself. Like when we fall asleep, it's like almost like mini deaths. It's like we are awake and then we fall asleep, and we are aware, sleeping, dreaming, and waking up. And so practicing this open intelligence, we know what is stable also during life and death. So that's something about us that isn't limited by anything. There are some death teachings. Maybe I can also see, maybe we could be somehow in touch, maybe if I with email, or because I could even maybe prepare some of Rinpoche's death teachings, where she prepares for death with an introduction. Yeah, I'll reflect on how we could put that together with the 12 empowerments and the death teachings, so you could have something to listen to. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, could maybe prepare some audios there. Okay, yes, but yeah, I don't know, Jochen, if you wanted to share something there more, but yeah, open intelligence is definitely something we want to know now, so we feel like that's where we can put everything in, when then the thoughts and emotions and the last, she always said, the last data that we have is the data of death, and then and everything that that is open intelligence doesn't end at death. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you. Good, yeah. That will inspire us to prepare we wanted to offer the death training this year. And it's preparing for one's own death, and also being with others, and just with our own practice. Perfect. I can see what I can do here. Yes.
Thank you.
Good. Well, thank you, everyone. It was good to be together today. Nice to share the teachings, and we'll meet again next week, same time, same day.
Thank you.
Thank
Good to
you.
see
Much
you
love,
all, friends.
everyone.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much.
Bye. Bye.